Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live in a world where a powerful elite controls everything and everyone? Where justice is a concept shaped by power and where arrogance and cruelty are the norm? Today, we will delve deep into the history of the world nobles, also known as the celestial dragons, and explore the complexity of this aristocracy that reigns over the world government. The world nobles. The world nobles, descendants of the 19 royal families who formed the world government 800 years ago, are the dark antagonists of our story. With their supreme authority, they are free to do whatever they want, committing heinous crimes without facing consequences. But how did they reach this point? Let's understand the origin and rise of this dominating class. Origin and formation. Approximately 800 years ago, 20 royal families united to combat the Great Kingdom. After their victory, 19 of these families moved to Merigios, atop the Red Line, leaving their homelands behind. Only the royal family of Alabasta chose to remain in their kingdom. This alliance became the embryo of what we know today as the world government. Over time, these families built a network of alliances with nations from the Four Blues and both halves of the Grand Line, consolidating their power. The authority of the world nobles. As descendants of the creators of the world government, the world nobles possess ultimate authority. They can commit atrocities without fear of punishment and have the power to summon navy admirals to deal with any threat. Each celestial dragon has a government-issued identification chip, a symbol of their untouchable status. Abuse of power and arrogance. The world nobles constantly abuse their power, despising everyone they consider inferior. To them, even kings and queens are humble peasants. This arrogance is evident in the way they treat commoners and in their open practice of slavery, an activity prohibited by the world government itself. To avoid breathing the same air as their inferior beings, they wear air helmets when outside Merigios. The hypocrisy of the world nobles. Eustace Kidd, one of the series' characters, considers the world nobles to be perfect examples of the world's rot and hypocrisy. He argues that while pirates are honest about their criminal nature, the world nobles use their heritage as justification for their crimes, making them even more hated and feared than the pirates themselves. Appearance and culture. The world nobles are easily recognizable by their white, spacesuit-like outfits and the distinctive hair curl on top of their heads. While some choose to keep their heads covered even within Merigios, others do not feel the need. Most of them are obese and display an arrogant, disdainful look, showing no pity or sympathy for those of lower status. Blood ties and the illusion of divinity. The world nobles believe they possess the blood of the creators of this world and consider themselves gods, not humans. This belief places them above the law and justice. However, not everyone shares this view. Don Quixote Homing, a benevolent celestial dragon, chose to abandon his status to live among commoners. His decision was seen as blasphemy by his peers, who cut all ties with him and his family, condemning them to misery. Connection with common people. Despite their power, the world nobles are deeply hated and feared by commoners. Those who dare to challenge them, like Fisher Tiger and Monkey D. Luffy, are exceptions in a sea of fear and submission. When a world noble loses their status, like Homing's family, they face the wrath of commoners and the indifference of their former compatriots. Celestial tribute and unmeasured wealth. The world nobles possess immense wealth, sustained by tributes from nations affiliated with the world government. This wealth allows them to buy anything, including slaves, and indulge in cruel and extravagant whims. Failure to deliver these tributes can result in terrible consequences for nations, including pirate attacks and famine. Slavery as a common practice. The celestial dragons have the right to enslave anyone they wish, branding their slaves with the claw of the celestial dragons. Their methods of discipline include tranquilizers and explosive collars. The cruelty with which they treat their slaves is terrifying, leading many to commit suicide after being freed. Fear of the ED and the national treasure. The world nobles fear those who bear the ED in their name, seeing them as natural enemies. They also possess a national treasure capable of controlling the world, kept in absolute secrecy. Don Quixote do Flamingo used his knowledge of this treasure to blackmail the world nobles, gaining power and influence. Void Century secret and internal conflicts. The world nobles are inflexible in maintaining secrecy about the Void Century, reacting with rage to any mention of it. They can also enter into conflict with each other, resulting in violence and even executions, as seen in Josgard's case. Powers and abilities. While most world nobles do not possess combat skills, they have great political influence and wealth. They can order the destruction of entire countries and are protected by Navy admirals and CP0. Their greatest weapon is the fear they instill in people, and their exclusive privilege is founding new kingdoms and enslaving anyone they wish. Ships of the world nobles. Whenever they travel the seas, the world nobles use grand ships with imposing designs, further reinforcing their authority and power. History and past of the world nobles. 900 years ago, 20 royal families ruled their kingdoms until the rise of the Great Kingdom. A century later, these families united to overthrow the Great Kingdom, establishing the New World Order in Mary Geos. Their descendants became the world nobles. The Don Quixote family, for example, played a significant role in this history, with Doflamingo using his knowledge and influence to manipulate and blackmail the world nobles. Conclusion. The world nobles represent the pinnacle of corruption and hypocrisy in the world. Their arrogance, cruelty, and abuse of power make them hated and feared figures. But despite all their power, they are also vulnerable to the truth and resistance of those who dare to challenge them. And you, what would you do if you were in the place of those who face the celestial dragons? How far would you go to expose the truth and fight for justice? Let us know in the comments and see you next time.